What's going on, Collectibles family? We are back again. We made it to the weekend, thank God. We are back with another comic book video. Gonna mix it up here. There's gonna be some gaming videos, graded game videos coming up. I've got some different things in the works, but it's been very busy, a very busy time. Thanks for hanging in with me. Guys, we are crawling, army crawling up to 1,000 subscribers. We're right at 800 and change. So if you don't mind hitting that subscribe button, if you do like what you hear, and I'm going to continue on. I'm trying to get out 2 videos a week. I'm a little bit behind here. The last one was about 10 days ago, so we will keep on plugging. But we are going to talk today 4 key comic books. I'm in the market, and these books are between $1,500 to $2,500. And I want to get your opinion on which one you would buy, or maybe you've already bought it, why you did, and maybe if it's not these, there's something, another book kind of in this price range that you've been looking at, just so I can get some other ideas. So we will go ahead and fire this thing off. So I said $1,500 to $2,500. We're going to kind of push this a little bit for this first book. Daredevil #1, all-time iconic character for me anyway. Now going back, I was born in 81, so I was collecting 1990 Marvel Impel cards in 1991, and I remember the Daredevil and the Bullseye cards were just so cool in that particular set. And I read some of the Daredevil comic books going back to the late 80s, early 90s when I was a kid. I just always thought he was a really cool character, long before the TV shows and all of that sort of thing. To me, this cover, there's something about this cover that I just really like. I think I like the old kind of that yellow Daredevil costume that he's in, that first costume. Something about the cover I just love about Daredevil 1. And so for me, I think for people that don't really care about the character as much, or this is kind of a side character, not as important as a Hulk or a Spider-Man or the X-Men or something, they might not be as into it. But for me, I don't know what it is. It's just something about this book in particular that I just really love and I want to add to my collection. And in this price point, 3.0s to 4.0s. That's kind of where we land here. On the higher end, $2,300 to $2,400 recent sales. And so again, I think there's a lot to like. If you are, I guess, a buyer holder, I'm a buyer and holder of this stuff. I want to hold on to it for a long time. So I'm also thinking about the money aspect. Can I see a book like this appreciating over time? I can, but with a lot of these books, I kind of look at this as more of pride of ownership and mainly just kind of store value type thing. Putting my money into something that I think is going to hold value over time, but then also has the possibility of going up incrementally. Daredevil 1, I think, is one of those key books. A lot of books are being called keys now. Everything's a damn key in the comic book world. You watch comic book YouTubers, we got this key. Everything's like they're really reaching for keys. Everything's a damn key. First appearance of this or that. First appearance of Dazzler, I guess, is a key, to some people. It's not, guys. It's not. All right. These are kind of the true type keys. All right. So Daredevil 1. Next one, Marvel Spotlight #5. And I really fell in love in this character going back to 1990. This was a book I remember on the newsstand that I thought, man, that is so cool looking. Ghost Rider. And I bought, of course, a raw copy of it. And I was collecting these. I was reading Ghost Rider going back to 1990 as a 9-year-old. But I just always thought, man, this is such a cool character. Found out later in life, when I got back into comics in 2018, first appearance of Ghost Rider, Marvel Spotlight #5, and it's got a wicked cover, this Marvel Spotlight #5. So I'm looking at a 7.5, 8.0 CGC, and it falls in kind of that $1,700 to $2,000 range, depending on the copy. For me, and I don't know about you guys, but I just want, when I go back to these 60s books, early 70s books, I don't want writing on the cover. That's one thing. I don't care if it's got the most pristine edges and the white pages, whatever. But if there's some sort of writing on the cover, that just really bothers me. So I'm looking at kind of that balance. I understand a 7.0, 7.5, 8.0. It's not going to be a perfect copy, but I don't want, Ryan's book written on the cover or whatever. I'm not all about that. So I'm just looking for kind of a crisp copy, good coloring. And again, you've got that really cool cover for Marvel Spotlight 5 where he's kind of coming up on the motorcycle. Just so sweet. All right, Amazing Spider-Man 14. I'm going to be perfectly honest. Out of all the books I'm going to mention, this is kind of like on the list, it's down a couple of pegs, but I've always thought this was a great book. First Green Goblin, of course, and an all-time important villain in the Spider-Man universe. He never goes away. It's the Osborn family and Hobgoblin and the Green Goblin. These are iconic Spider-Man characters. I know iconic gets thrown around. It gets used, probably overused too much these days, but this is one of those important books. $1,700 to $1,800 if you're looking at a 4.0. On eBay, they're right at about that $1,700, $1,800 range. And again, this is one, I'm not downplaying the book. I think it's really cool, but it's, of all the books, this is probably the one that maybe might be third or fourth down the list for me. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Last but certainly not least, and my God, again, going back to 2018 when I got into buying graded books, this book has been speculated on for a very long time, and it is Fantastic Four 48. First appearance of Galactus and the Silver Surfer. It seems like we are finally getting to the finish line where we might actually get a movie. But guys, we've been, and if you're in this world, you know, YouTubers, online, everybody's been talking about the Fantastic Four movie that's coming. Galactus is coming. Everyone's coming. We've been going back 5-6 years on this, where, you know, these movies are going to come, and if they do them right, they could be really awesome. I mean, the Silver Surfer character and just Galactus as a character too, just how they've done like Avengers Endgame, and they've done so well with kind of the visuals and the cinematics of it, they could really do this well. And I hope that they do and kind of kickstart these franchises, whether we're talking about the Fantastic Four or the X-Men. These are two properties that really need to be done right. You know, like Guardians of the Galaxy style, where they cast everything well, the movies are done well, they're very popular. You know, we have got to have that moving forward. I know that a lot of people are excited about the new Deadpool movie. We've got Wolverine and Deadpool battling it out, making an appearance. So will that kind of kickstart? You know, the Marvel Universe has hit a snag here with a lot of kind of ho-hum shows and movies here lately. They need a little bit of a spark. And I think that they've got a great opportunity in front of them with the Fantastic Four. This is going back to the early days of Marvel. An extremely important franchise in that Marvel universe is Fantastic Four. And the other movies that they did for Fantastic Four, they weren't terrible, but they really need to nail this. They really have to nail Fantastic Four, and then just kind of rebooting X-Men and turning that into that next, you know, decade of really good X-Men stuff. So, all right, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. In this price range, really, if you're looking at $1,500 to $2,500, you've got a large variety of key books that you can buy in here. So if you have any suggestions as well, I'm open to hearing, because there might be something that I'm just not thinking of. It all really depends on grade. I can't get an Amazing Fantasy 15. I can't get a Hulk 1 at $1,500 to $2,500, but there's a lot of these kind of, I'm not going to call them minor keys. They're still major keys, but depending on the grade, they fall into this price point. All right, friends, stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.